It's finally happening. The Texans' opportunity to win a Lombardi trophy starts now. You look at new offensive line, you revamp that, you have a great wide receiving core, the top 10 defense. On top of that, a new offensive coordinator with a new system that all the players are loving and sharing their thoughts on. This team is destined to have a window in the next year 2, 3 years. This team should go to a Super Bowl. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Texans fan. We're going to break down this roster and really look at why this is such a great team. Now, if you're new to the channel, 77% of you are not subscribed. And if you want to stay up to date with all Texans news, go ahead and hit that sub button for me. And let me know your thoughts on this team, because this is a great question right here. Where does the Texans offense need to be in order to have a successful season? Because you look at last year, clearly was not working out. Bobby Slowick did not man the troops well enough. The offensive line collapsed. You had injured wide receivers, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs. It was really Nico Collins, and then Mechie couldn't step up. Xavier Hutchinson, Robert Woods. It just wasn't enough, right? So you go out in the draft and you go get some players. I mean, Christian Kirk was a great offseason addition. Jaden Higgins, I love, is going to be the new number 2. And Jalen Noel, who probably won't start originally. But I love Christian Kirk because realistically, I feel like he's being slept on. A lot of, he's been talked about how injury prone he is, but realistically, if Christian Kirk is healthy, that is one of the better slot receivers who can run really good routes. He's got strong, sticky hands. That's a player of probably a security blanket that Stroud is going to love. And as far as the new offense, Christian Kirk has had thoughts on basically how this season's going to go.
Nick is all ball. Very intelligent, very smart, does a great job communicating to us, what the expectations are, route detail, motions, formations, whatever the case may be. He's done a great job kind of laying that out for us. And it's been, I guess, primarily pretty easy, just being able to learn it the way he's been able to install it. Ben McDaniels in our room has done a great job teaching us just all the things from a football IQ aspect that you need to know as a receiver. And this offense is dynamic. A lot of motions, a lot of pre-snap adjustments for the defense to have to, deal with. So I think you'll see a lot of guys in different places to be able to make plays.
So you heard Kirk talk about the pre-snap adjustments. There's going to be a lot of motion. And from Nick Caley, coming from a Sean McVay system, he's going to bring a lot of that style towards that kind of offense. So you're going to see Kirk probably moving back and forth a ton. You're probably going to see a lot of run-heavy schemes. You have Joe Mixon. You have Nick Chubb. That's what I'm expecting this offense to look like. But the fact that he's here and he knows the system and he's ready to learn, and not ready to learn, but I mean, realistically, you have a veteran here in Christian Kirk, who is a very good wide receiver. And looking at the team, it's going to look awesome. CJ Stroud, Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, Christian Kirk, Jalen Noel. I don't know why Mechie's on there, but you have depth. Justin Watson, Braxton Barrett. There is so much talent on this Texans offense. There's no reason it shouldn't be at least top 10. Because you've seen people, at least from what I've seen, well, and we'll get to that in just a second, but it's been evident that ever since the sophomore slump, CJ Stroud, everyone's like, oh, remember when CJ Stroud was a top 10 quarterback in 2023? Well, to be honest, he probably still is. Just because he had a down year, normally that doesn't happen. With a quarterback who plays as great as CJ Stroud did in his rookie year, it's almost rare to see a sophomore quarterback fall into a backward spiral. You have Big Ben, who won a Super Bowl in his second season. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Brock Purdy, Joe Burrow both went to Super Bowls in their second season. So that was what I was expecting. Not the Super Bowl, but I was expecting the Texans to go on a run, probably to an AFC championship, maybe win that. Now this year, I think it's the same expectation. We'll go back to this question once more, but what is the Texans' successful season? I think if they make it to an AFC championship, it's a successful season. You're expecting double-digit wins. You're expecting a division title. You're not expecting to be a Super Bowl contender. Because as much as we would like to think that as fans, it's not necessarily going to be the case, right? I think realistically, if the Texans were to make an AFC championship, that would be amazing. If they make it back to the divisional round, great. But to be honest, they really shouldn't have made it past the wild card, but their defense bailed them out a lot. Their offense played very bad in that wild card game versus the Chargers, and then that was evident in the divisional round against the Chiefs. So Probably going to have to play the Chiefs either in the divisional round or the championship if you want to get back there. Maybe the Bills, maybe the Bengals, maybe the Ravens. Who knows? But you're going to have to play some difficult teams, and this is going to be the hard thing for Houston, but I think they're going to be able to do it because you look at their top 10 defense, the defense is there. It's really a matter of what can the offense do. And I'll tell you, not only Christian Kirk talking about the team, but CJ Stroud feels even more confident when just talking about Nick Caley and loving him as a person.
Him as a person. I think for me, like, I buy into people. I really don't buy into like system. I kind of have that thing about like life. Is like, it's the people and the relationships that kind of take things and make it rocket ship to the stars. So just him as a person, man, like he has probably the most juice I've ever seen in my life, just naturally. I'm a very laid back, chill guy, except for like when I'm in between the lines. But like he's 6 a.m, he's up, he's at it. So like that kind of like gets me motivated. And just, how he buys into his players and, he calls me a lot. I don't always answer because he always yelling and stuff. But I appreciate it though, and it's it's been great. He's implementing a lot of things he's done in the past, which is important as well. The system is important, and he's doing a great job. As you guys have seen, we've been able to have a pretty good OTA off-season program. From what you guys can see, and even things that y'all can't see, building that foundation so we can rocket ship once we snap that ball, against LA. So, I love Nick, and he's doing a great job.
I know it was a little bit of a longer clip, but that is the dynamic that you love to see between your quarterback and your offensive coordinator. That back and forth fire, the fuel, and Nick Caley giving CJ more freedom and him having to take more accountability. He said it in the offseason, but I thought the funniest thing about that was that he has to almost avoid him because of how much they talk and how much they interact and how much they call each other. But that is a good sign looking forward to the season. And Nick Caley is not only going to be that stepping stone for CJ Stroud, but realistically, CJ Stroud is probably a top 3 MVP candidate in my opinion. I mean, it's either him, Jaden Daniels, or another top quarterback. But when you look at it, do not count out CJ Stroud by any means. I feel like there's a very good possibility that the offense is a major success point. And I'm not going to say the defense falls back, but it's very hard to replicate the number right here. Number 7th defense in the league in 2024. It's going to be hard to get back to top 5 and be better than you were last year, but I would say at least a top 10, at most a top 15 defense, barring injury. We've knocked on some wood here, but you want to see this team continue to have success. And with the way Nick Caserio has built this roster, there is so much depth, not only on defense, but you have offense as well. There's offensive linemen behind offensive linemen. You have Chubb behind Mixon. You have so much depth behind wide receiver. And even on defense, you just signed another cornerback in Damon Arnett. So the weakest position is probably linebacker, but I would expect Christian Harris to be back. Hopefully he's back from that lower body injury. He had like that hamstring calf injury last year. So we want to see Christian Harris back healthy because when he is, he's a beast. But talking about slim rooms, the linebacking core, you have Toto and then Al-Shaair and then Harris. So if you have one of those guys go down, hopefully not the case. So this is the team, really. And I am confident that the offense can play just as good as the defense did last year. Or more or not, we could say that they play pretty much the same as they did in 2023 when Stroud was here his rookie year. This was the potential offense before the draft, and obviously it has turned into this. It's just a little bit smaller, but you have Mixon, you have Chubb, you have Woody Marks behind him as well. Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, Christian Kirk, Dalton Schultz with Brevin Jordan back off injury, Cameron Robinson, Laken Tomlinson, Ariante Ursary, you have Juice Scruggs, Jared Patterson, Titus Howard. This is a solid offensive line, let's be completely honest. And I feel like there really aren't many holes on this team, but this is a Super Bowl winning roster, and I'm expecting CJ Stroud to take that jump. Last topic, let's just touch on it really quickly. But the biggest thing here is Titus Howard's PFF grade at tackle is 73, while his guard is only 46. That's the PFF grade. I don't think PFF grades mean a lot of things, but when looking at it, it could be a little bit alarming. But you have to understand that he did not play a lot of snaps at guard. 1,500 career snaps at guard. Again, this was pretty much, we're talking about shaking up the lineup, and because of injury, he's moving inside, he's moving outside. I think not only did we see him embrace the guard position, but Titus Howard's going to be, I think, very, very good this year. I think he's a better guard than he is a tackle. Very athletic, and then inside, he's going to be a great leader, a great mentor for this team. And I can't wait to look forward to this Texans season because it's going to be a lot of fun. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, basically what you're expecting from this team. I think a Super Bowl run is possible over the next 1 to 3 years. Whether you sign CJ Stroud to a massive contract or not, this is going to be a team that goes far. So excited to see the season, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. 77% of you, once again, are not subscribed. Hit that sub button if you're new. This has been Mike Zanetti, Texans Digest. We'll see ya in the next video.